Don't forget to drop your comments, share your perspective and lessons learned in the comments section below. Like the video and subscribe. Shanice Williams clutched her swollen belly as the first pain hit like a freight train. She leaned against the weathered wood of the old barn, dust motes drifting in the sunbeams. Marcus, her husband, was sprinting down the long gravel drive toward their car, panic twisting his features. The engine groaned and died. Shanice's breath came fast. This was happening now, no hospital in sight. She pushed herself onto the cold floorboards, hands trembling. Memories of her teacher's aid training kicked in. Stay calm, focus on breathing. She sank to a kneeling stance, whispering reassurances to her unborn babies. Each contraction roared louder, echoing in the silent fields. No help was coming. Marcus's shouts faded into the distance as he flagged down a passing tractor, driver's face unreadable behind his sunburned hat. Inside the barn, Shanice felt the baby's head crowning. Her vision blurred. She gripped a torn towel, dug her nails into its fibers. "You can do this, Shanice," she murmured. Time stretched. A second pang knocked the air from her lungs. She remembered her daughter's name, Lily, chosen months ago under a lazy summer sky. She coaxed that name out like a prayer. With a final push, a tiny cry rattled the rafters. Shanice gasped relief and horror. Before she could cradle Lily, the barn doors banged open. Bright headlights cut through the gloom. Men in black suits flooded in, cameras flashing. The U.S. President, James Hale, stood framed by the door, his motorcade idling behind him. Reporters scrambled, shouting questions. Shanice blinked, heart hammering. Lily's small body lay on her forearm, bundled in a blood-spattered towel. Marcus burst in, mud on his pants, face ashen. He reached for Shanice, eyes wild. Reporters hovered, lenses trained on them. The president approached, smiled wide. "Incredible," he said, voice booming. "A miracle in rural America." Flashbulbs popped. Somewhere beyond the barn, a camera woman's voice crackled, "This is going viral." Relief and dread slugged Shanice in the chest. They hoisted Lily into an ambulance, Marcus trailing. Shanice didn't know if she was grateful or terrified. Marcus Williams bolted alongside the ambulance, dust kicking up behind his boots. He clutched Shanice's hand until an EMT gently pried her fingers free. He glanced back at the barn, its doors now closed, reporters jostling for footage. Lily lay asleep in a security-blanketed cradle. Marcus felt pride and shame tangled together. He should have fixed the car. He should have been there sooner. Inside the ambulance, Shanice's eyes were fixed on the ceiling. Her voice was barely a whisper, "Our son, where's he?" The EMT shot her a blank look, focusing on Lily's tiny chest rising and falling. Marcus sank beside her stretcher. He pressed her hand. "He's fine, babe." "He's fine." But he didn't believe it. Sirens wailed down the lonely road. The motorcade followed at a distance, lights flashing. Someone was making sure every second of this became public. On the way, a TV crew filmed through the window. Shanice pale and shaking, Lily wrapped close, the president's emblem on every broadcast. Marcus bowed his head, cheeks burning. At the hospital, nurses and Secret Service swarmed them. Dr. Naomi Chun awaited with a numb smile. "Welcome," she said, voice hollow. "We'll take care of you now." Lily was whisked down a side hall for checks. Shanice and Marcus were led to a private room, cameras barred, but distant flashes still flickered through the blinds. Marcus sank onto the edge of the bed. "They saw everything," he muttered. Shanice closed her eyes. The world felt jagged. She remembered the ache in the barn, the president's smooth praise, the way Lily had cried out as if demanding justice. A knock at the door. Nurse Evelyn Scott entered, eyes sad. She offered Shanice a cup of tea. "Rest," she said softly. As Evelyn turned away, Marcus caught her glance, haunted, wary. Shanice noted it, storing the look in her mind. Outside, TV screens lit up waiting rooms, Rural healthcare heroine flashed across the screen as the president praised Shanice's courage. But somewhere in the hospital's maze, a small life waited without a mother's arms. The next morning, Shanice drifted between dreams. She dreamt of two babies crying, one tiny voice stolen by shadows. She woke to Marcus's gentle shaking. Lily cooed in a bassinet. Shanice's heart fluttered. There was Lily. But where was her son, Noah? Dr. Chen entered with grave eyes. You delivered twins yesterday, she began. Shanice's pulse spiked. Yes, she said. Lily and Noah. Dr. Chen swallowed. Noah's fine. Her voice trembled. He's being examined by specialists. Shanice stood, voice rigid. Specialists? Where? Marshall, a dark-suited Secret Service agent, appeared in the doorway. His face was stone. He's in a secured wing, he said. Family visits later. Shanice stared at Marcus. He looked as lost as she felt. The hours crawled. Marcus paced. Shanice held Lily close, tears wetting her shirt. Every mother's instinct screamed that something was wrong. She asked nurses, they gave vague answers. He's doing well, one whispered as she passed. Another avoided eye contact. Shanice's resolve crystallized. She whispered to Marcus, something's off. I'm going to find him. His protest died on his lips when Nurse Scott caught Shanice's gaze in the hallway. Evelyn's lips quivered. She nodded once, almost imperceptibly. Shanice returned to the room, heart pounding. That night, through a half-open door, she saw her son's tiny form under bright lights, tubes running in and out. His crib was behind a locked door, guarded by 2 agents. Shanice hugged Lily, silent fury burning inside her. She vowed, no matter what, she'd get Noah back. The barn was behind them now, but the nightmare was only beginning. Continuous cameras watched their every move, and every smile felt loaded with lies. Shanice would need courage and help to save her son. Shanice's world narrowed to the glare of camera flashes. She sat on a folding chair just outside the barn, Lily in her lap, sweat cooling on her forehead. Reporters swarmed like bees, shouting questions. Ma'am, how do you feel? What's your message to rural moms? Did you expect the president to stop? Shanice blinked at the lenses, heart pounding. Marcus stood beside her, mud still caked on his boots, jaw clenched. He gave polite nods but didn't answer. Every few yards, a TV drone hummed overhead, capturing every blink, every breath. The president, tall, composed, strode forward. He knelt to Shanice's level, hand outstretched. You're a hero, he said, voice rich with practiced sympathy. Your strength shows what rural America is made of. Flashbulbs popped so fast it felt like a strobe. Shanice forced a smile, cheeks burning. She clenched Lily tighter. The baby stirred, eyes fluttering open. The president's aides snapped a photo of Shanice handing Lily to him for a staged moment. Lily gave a sleepy gurgle. Marcus's stomach twisted. He mouthed, "Why?" But the president's broad grin never wavered. When the staged photo op ended, Secret Service agents herded Shanice toward an armored car. Reporters rushed forward, shouting, "Madam President, are you running for office?" The president laughed it off, helped Shanice into the back seat, lifting Lily in one arm. Marcus climbed in too, still shaken. The motorcade doors slammed. Engines roared to life. Cameras captured the convoy leaving the barn's shadow, rolling down the dusty road. Shanice looked back once, heart-thudding. The old barn receded, swallowed by a cloud of dust and a tidal wave of headlines already forming. Somewhere in that frenzy was the moment her son slipped away. In the car, a TV screen folded down from the roof. Live footage showed Shanice handing her baby to the president, an image that would replay for days. Marcus reached out, brushing Shanice's hair back. "You okay?" he whispered. She swallowed. "I'll be. But we've got to stay sharp." Lily yawned, reaching one tiny hand toward Marcus's face. As the motorcade sped toward town, Shanice realized those bright lights and cameras could either shine on her truth or blind the world to it. She vowed not to let the glare hide her son's absence. The ambulance bay was chaotic. Flashing lights painted the concrete walls cherry red. Shanice and Lily were lifted onto a gurney. Medics whisked them inside. Marcus hung back, guided by 2 agents through a side entrance. He heard Lily's soft cries mix with Shanice's exhausted sighs. Inside, Nurse Evelyn Scott met them at the sliding doors. She signaled Marcus over. "Quick check," she said, voice low. Shanice lay pale on the stretcher, Lily swaddled beside her. Evelyn checked Lily's vitals, then Shanice's. Marcus pounded down 2 steps and knelt by Shanice's head. "How's she?" he asked Evelyn. Evelyn hesitated. "Stable, but tired. They'll keep her under observation." She cast a furtive glance over her shoulder. "Stay with her. I'll bring coffee." She slipped away before he could ask more. The room was tiny, white walls, metal rails, the steady beep of machines. Shanice's eyes creaked open. She managed a weak smile. "Hey," she croaked. Marcus squeezed her hand. "Hey, you're safe now." She looked around for Noah. "Where's Noah?" Her voice cracked. Marcus swallowed. "They moved him to special care." He hated the words. Shanice's eyes filled. "Why wasn't he with us?" Before he could answer, Dr. Naomi Chen entered, her face drawn. She lowered her voice. "Noah's being monitored. He had some complications, premature complications. There's a secure neonatal unit." Shanice's relief flickered. Complications weren't the same as silence. On a nearby table, Shanice spotted her phone buzzing. She grabbed it, scrolling through frantic messages from family and friends. Everyone ended with prayers and emojis. She tapped out a quick reply, "He's okay. I love you." Then she deleted it. No one outside needed to know what was happening. Marcus stood by the window, staring at the dark sky bleeding into dawn. He turned. "We'll see him at visiting hours." Shanice nodded, though uncertainty curled in her gut. Lily whimpered. Shanice lifted her. The baby latched instantly, tiny fist curled around Shanice's finger. A spark of hope lit Shanice's chest. She would protect Lily. And she would find Noah no matter what it took. Later that day, the hospital TV looped footage of the barn rescue. Shanice and Lily in the president's arms. The anchor cooed about rural healthcare heroes and heartwarming campaign moments. Guests on the morning show praised Shanice's bravery. Marcus watched from the doorway, arms crossed, jaw tight. Shanice sat in her hospital bed, Lily feeding quietly. She should feel proud, part of something bigger. Instead, every attaboy from the pundits felt like salt in a wound. She blinked back tears as a graphic flashed. William's family. Faces of hope. Marcus flicked off the TV. "I can't watch this." Shanice laid Lily down gently on her chest. Marcus took her hand. "They've made you into a poster girl." She nodded, voice soft. "And hidden Noah." He raked a hand through his hair. "We'll set it straight." She forced a smile. "We'll need proof." Marcus frowned. "I'll get it." Across town, Deputy Governor Linda Perez stared at the same footage on her office monitor. She smoothed her skirt, lips thin. "If this backfires," she muttered, reaching for her phone. Back in the room, a knock. Nurse Scott slipped in, eyes alert. "I have something for you." She handed Shanice a folded note sealed with a presidential crest. Marcus tensed. Shanice unfolded it. The words inside were brief but chilling. "Meet me in the nurse's station at midnight. Come alone." Shanice's breath caught. She glanced at Marcus. He nodded. She had to go. That note meant someone knew more than they'd said. As night settled, Shanice tucked Lily in, kissed her brow. She stood, heart hammering. "I'll be right back," she whispered into the dark room. Outside, the halls were silent, too silent. She slipped into the shadows, determined to uncover the truth hidden behind the camera's glare. Shanice's heart thundered as she slipped down the dim hallway toward the nurse's station. Lily's soft cries still echoed in her ears. a reminder of what was at stake. She checked her watch. Just before midnight. The corridors were empty, the only light coming from the pale glow of emergency exit signs. She rounded a corner and saw Nurse Evelyn Scott waiting, face tense. Evelyn glanced over her shoulder, then motioned Shanice closer. "They moved him," she whispered, voice low. "Your son, no one will admit it here." Shanice's knees weakened. "Move where?" Evelyn shook her head. "I don't know exactly, but the official birth records list only one baby, Lily. You're his only mother now." Shanice swallowed bile. "What do you mean they list only Lily?" Evelyn bit her lip. "They've erased him from the system." A cold rage flared in Shanice's chest. "Who?" Evelyn's eyes darted. "Secret Service orders. Agent Marshall." She pressed a crumpled slip of paper into Shanice's hand. On it was a room number and a time, 2 a.m. If you want to see him, that's where he is. Shanice unfolded it, hands shaking. She tucked the note into her pocket and nodded. Evelyn studied her. "Be careful. Cameras are in the hallways, but they can't watch everything." Shanice managed a grateful smile and turned away. Her mind raced. Lily was safe in the nursery. She'd sneak back before anyone noticed. Each step felt heavy, adrenaline mixing with dread. She reached the maternity wing door, the card key reader blinking red. Evelyn's card hovered for a second before the light turned green. Shanice slipped inside. The hallway was darker than before, monitors humming softly. At 2 a.m., she would find the room and their son. Back in her room, Marcus sat awake in a plastic chair. Shanice returned without warning, eyes wild. She pulled him to his feet and whispered urgently, "They erased Noah. I have to go back." He grabbed her arm. "No, it's too dangerous." She shook him off. "I have to see him." His face crumpled. "Please be careful." Shanice kissed Lily's forehead and crept back into the shadows. Her mind burned with one thought. She would not leave without Noah. At exactly 2 a.m., Shanice stood before the locked door of room 312. She'd memorized the number from Evelyn's note. Her breath formed small clouds in the chilly air. Marcus hovered behind her, fear in his eyes. "This is crazy," he muttered. Shanice pressed her palm to the reader. Evelyn's card swiped through. The lock clicked. Inside, the room was empty except for a small basin lined with blankets. Lily's crib, now empty and stripped, sat by the window. Shanice's stomach twisted. "Where is he?" she whispered to the silent walls. Marcus shone his phone light across the room, but found nothing. No monitors, no machines, just echoes of her worst fears. They dashed to the nurse's station down the hall. The desks were deserted, papers strewn. Shanice rifled through folders until a clipboard caught her eye. Pediatric intake logs. She scanned the list, only Lily Williams. No Noah Williams. Panic clawed at her throat. Marcus grabbed her arm. "They're lying." Suddenly, footsteps approached. Nurse Chan appeared, eyes wide. "What are you doing?" she hissed. Shanice turned. "Where's my son?" Chen's face went pale. "There was only one baby born here." Shanice's voice cracked. "I delivered 2. I saw him." Dr. Chen flinched. I'm sorry. I can't help you." She slipped away before Shanice could protest. Marcus slammed his fist on the desk. "This is impossible." Shanice sank to the floor, hands clutching her hair. Doubt crept in. Had her exhaustion twisted her memories? But Lily's quiet breathing in the crib down the hall said otherwise. She knew what she'd lived through. A distant murmur reached them, agents walking the corridor. Shanice looked at Marcus, eyes burning. "They've gaslight us." He nodded, jaw set. "So we'll go to someone who can't ignore it." They fled back to their room. By dawn, Shanice stared at the single birth certificate on the bedside table. Official hospital seal. One child. One mother. She clenched her fists. Denial and doubt weren't going to save Noah. She vowed to expose the lie no matter who stood in her way. That afternoon, under the sterile hum of the fluorescent lights, Shanice's world felt small and suffocating. She sat beside Lily's crib, watching the baby sleep, and her mind replayed the night's horrors. Marcus stood by the window watching traffic drift by. Neither spoke. A knock on the door startled them. Agent Marshall swept in, flanked by two stern-faced officers. He glanced at Lily, then at Shanice. "Mrs. Williams, the president regrets the confusion," he said smoothly. "Your son is safe." Shanice rose to her feet, voice steady but furious. "I want to see him." Marshall inclined his head. "Certainly. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. in Special Care Unit." His eyes glittered. "I understand this has been hard. Cooperation will make everything easier." He turned to leave. Marcus seized Shanice's hand. Her heart lurched. This was another trap. After they left, Shanice sank onto the bed. A nurse's voice called from the hallway. "Mrs. Williams?" Evelyn Scott appeared, her face strained. She slipped inside, closed the door softly. "I'm so sorry," she said. In her hand was a folded piece of stationery bearing the presidential seal. "I found this in the back office." Shanice unfolded it, hands trembling. The note read, "If you value your daughter's safety, you'll stay quiet. The program is bigger than you know. Trust no one but me." No signature. No time. Marcus frowned over her shoulder. "It's from Evelyn?" She nodded. "She risked everything to get this to us." He looked at Evelyn, gratitude and anger warring in his eyes. Evelyn's voice quivered. "I couldn't watch them take your son. I'm on your side." Shanice folded the note, determination hardening. "We play along for Lily's sake," she whispered. "But we keep digging. We found Noah." Evelyn swallowed. "I'll help however I can." As Marcus embraced Shanice, she pressed Lily close. The note's warning echoed, "Trust no one but Evelyn." In the tug-of-war between light and shadow, Shanice found a spark of hope and a new ally willing to risk it all. Shanice Williams stared at the framed photo on the hospital room wall, her smiling face, Lily in her arms, the president standing close. It was the same image that aired on every screen. She felt a hollow knot in her stomach. Marcus sat beside her, phone in hand, watching the news feed of well-wishers and pundits calling her a symbol of hope. A knock drew their attention. Dr. Naomi Chen entered, face tight with concern. "Mrs. Williams, Mr. Williams, campaign staff want to fly you back to Washington for an event tomorrow," she said quietly. "They'll cover all expenses." Marcus exchanged a glance with Shanice. He swallowed. "They want us to do a photo op?" Shanice asked. Dr. Chen nodded. "They say it'll help rural healthcare awareness." Shanice felt anger and guilt collide. She wanted to scream that her son was missing. Instead, she forced a polite smile. "We'll think about it," she said. Dr. Chen hesitated, then left. When the door clicked shut, Shanice turned on Marcus. "We play along," she said, voice low. "We get access. We found Noah." Marcus closed his eyes. "I hate it," he whispered. "But you're right. They spent the afternoon signing release forms soft, rarely meeting the camera directly. Inside, her mind was racing. She only agreed so they could learn where Noah was hidden. That evening, in their rented room, Shanice paced while Marcus checked his notes. They'd gathered small details from Evelyn, floor plans, guard shifts, code names. They reviewed them on a crumpled printout. Shanice shook her head. "It's riskier than I thought." Marcus nodded. "We can do it. Lily slept on a makeshift bed between them. Marcus touched Shanice's shoulder. "I'm proud of you," he said. She forced a smile. "We're doing this for him." Late that night, Shanice stared at the ceiling. She felt the weight of thanks pressed on her chest by the president's team, the government, everyone who saw only her smile. She knew gratitude was a trap, one they'd use to silence her. She squeezed Marcus's hand. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "we start digging deeper." Chapter 11. Investigation begins. A week later, Shanice sat in a small cafe in town with Sarah Coleman, the independent journalist. Sarah unfolded her notebook, pen poised. "The official story says one baby," Sarah began. Her tone was gentle but firm. "You insist there were twins?" Shanice nodded, hands wrapped around a hot cup of tea. She felt the warmth seep into her palms as she spoke. "I delivered Lily first. Then Noah. I felt him moving, heard him cry." Her voice trembled. "He can't just vanish." Sarah listened, brow furrowed. "I've covered rural clinics for years," she said. "Records are messy, but I've never seen data erased." She tapped her pen. "Why do you think they did it?" Shanice met her gaze. "Something bigger than a medical mistake. I think the president's team took him for genetics research." Sarah's pen paused. "That's a huge claim." Shanice leaned forward. "It's not theory. A nurse slipped me notes about a program. They target vulnerable families, rural, poor, take babies for secret tests. Then wipe their records." Sarah's eyes widened. "Do you have proof?" Shanice slid a photo across the table, a blurry shot of Noah's incubator behind a locked door, time-stamped late that night. Sarah studied it. "This is powerful," she said. "But I need more documents, witness statements." Shanice nodded. "I have someone inside. Evelyn Scott." Sarah's mouth curved into a determined smile. "Then let's talk to her." Over the next hour, Sarah grilled Shanice for every detail, times, names, file numbers. She recorded it all, promising to protect Shanice's identity until she was ready. When they parted, Sarah pressed Shanice's hand. "I believe you," she said. "I'll start digging into medical logs, security footage." Shanice walked back to the hospital, a spark of hope kindling. At least one person was on her side, someone with a voice loud enough to challenge the president's narrative. She clutched Lily tighter. If Sarah found proof, they could blow the story wide open. That afternoon, Agent Marshall paced in the hospital's administrative wing. He dialed his secure line. "We have a situation," he said. "The journalist is asking questions." Across the hall, Dr. Naomi Chun and Deputy Governor Linda Perez exchanged worried glances. Perez pressed a finger to her lips. "Keep it quiet. No one outside can know." Marshall ended the call and strode into the hospital's director's office. He found them both facing a wall-sized map of the facility with security grids and ward codes. He tapped the map. "Coleman's poking around. She's a threat." Perez pinched the bridge of her nose. "We can't let her publish anything. The campaign can't survive this." Dr. Chen's voice shook. "I'm just a doctor. I don't want to go to jail." Marshall's eyes were steel. "You'll stay silent. I handle her." That evening, Shanice returned to her room. She found Marcus waiting, tension clear in his posture. "They're tightening security," he said. Marshall warned the hospital to watch every corner. Shanice bit her lip. "Sarah's still digging. We just need one big piece of evidence." Marcus pressed a scrap of paper into her hand, another note from Evelyn. It read, "Check the maintenance tunnel under ICU. They use it to move sensitive cases." Shanice's pulse jumped. "That's our in." As night fell, she and Marcus prepared for another risky move. The hospital's halls would be empty, but cameras would still watch. They would slip through the maintenance door, find Noah, and gather what they needed. In the silent corridor, Shanice steadied herself. Every step brought them closer to the truth and closer to danger. Late at night, Shanice and Marcus slipped into the hospital's maintenance tunnel beneath the ICU. The concrete walls dripped with cold moisture, and the lights buzzed above, casting long shadows. Marcus held a flashlight. Shanice clutched the crumpled note from Evelyn that said the records room was just ahead. They crept past pipes and wiring, the echo of distant machinery guiding them. Marcus's boots scuffed on the metal grating floor. Shanice's heart pounded in her ears. Every thought raced. Find proof. Find Noah. At the end of the tunnel, a heavy door stood, marked Archives. Marcus tried the handle. It clicked open. Inside, rows of metal cabinets stretched wall to wall. Shanice flipped on the light. Dust motes danced in the beam. She went straight for the neonatal records cabinet. They pulled open the drawer labeled 2025 Births, Williams. Instead of 2 files, only one lay inside, Lily Williams. Marcus's face went pale. They erased him. Shanice knelt and rifled through nearby folders, research studies, genetics program. She found a thick file stamped top secret. Inside, pages listed code names, sample IDs, and a reference to subject NW042 with her maiden name. She flipped to the back pages, photos of a tiny incubator unit labeled confidential, do not release. One image showed Noah's tiny hand on the mattress. Her breath caught. A noise made them freeze, footsteps in the tunnel. Marcus slammed the cabinet shut and pulled Shanice back into the darkness. They pressed against the wall as a security guard passed by the open door, flashlight sweeping tentatively. When he left, Marcus grabbed the file. "We've got it," he whispered. They hurried back through the tunnel. Outside, the hospital's hum felt too loud. Marcus tucked the folder under his jacket. Shanice stopped just inside the ICU door. She peeked in. The ward was empty, machines beeping in the dark. She spotted a nurse's cart and slipped the top secret file into her bag. Back in their room, they spread the papers on the bed. Shanice traced the line that read, "Sample collected January 2nd, 2025, the night she gave birth." The proof was here. Marcus sat beside her, eyes shining with resolve. "We bring this to Sarah," he said. Shanice nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. "We exposed them." They leaned in together, the file between them. For the first time since Lily's birth, hope felt real. The next morning, Shanice held the file tight as she met with Sarah in a quiet corner of the hospital cafe. Sarah flipped through pages, brow furrowing at each photo and note. "This is explosive," she said. "We need testimony to back it up." Shanice took a shaky breath. "There's someone." They arranged to meet Nurse Evelyn Scott in the staff parking lot after midnight. Evelyn arrived looking over her shoulder. She wore a thick jacket and gloves despite the mild spring air. They led her to Sarah's car. Inside, Sarah set her recorder. Evelyn's hands trembled on the steering wheel. "I never wanted any of this," she whispered. "I signed on thinking we'd help sick babies. But they wanted genetics data, a healthy babies, too. They're building something worse than you can imagine." Shanice gripped Evelyn's shoulder. "What happened to Noah?" Evelyn swallowed. "He was perfect. The samples they took, they need infant growth markers for gene editing. He's alive, but they're experimenting on him." Her voice broke. "I couldn't stop it." Sarah asked precise questions, dates, people involved, where samples were stored. Evelyn answered, naming Agent Marshall, Dr. Chen's coerced role, and even Deputy Governor Perez's oversight. She handed over a thumb drive with hidden video files showing Noah in a sterile lab room, wires attached to sensors. Shanice felt adrenaline spike. This was the proof they needed. Sarah promised to safeguard Evelyn's identity and publish first thing in the morning. Evelyn looked at Shanice. "Be ready for fallout," she warned. "They'll go after you." Back in their room, Shanice and Marcus reviewed the thumb drive. Noah's tiny face blinked on the screen, wrapped in tubes. Lily stirred in the bassinet, unaware. Shanice pressed a finger to the screen. "I'll get you back." Marcus pulled her close. "We have what we need." Shanice nodded. Fear bubbled under her skin, but it was mixed with fierce determination. That night, Sarah's article went live. The headline screamed, "Government Genetic Experiments on Newborns. Evidence Exposed." Notifications buzzed on their phones. Shanice looked at Marcus, heart pounding. The world now knows. The hospital corridor felt electric the next morning. News vans lined the drive. Reporters crowded around the entrance. Cameras captured every moment as Shanice and Marcus walked out, hand in hand, baby Lily safe in her car seat. They shielded Lily's eyes from the glare. Inside, Dr. Naomi Chen waited in an empty office. Her face was pale. She motioned them in. "You went public," she said quietly. "They're furious." Shanice opened her bag and placed the top-secret file on the desk. Dr. Chen's lips parted in shock. "I was scared," Dr. Chen confessed. "I knew what they were doing was wrong, but Marshall threatened me. If I spoke, they'd ruin my career. Maybe worse." Her voice trembled. "I hid records in archives because I wanted to protect you. I never thought it would go this far." Shanice met her gaze. "We need you, Dr. Chun. Your testimony will break this open." Dr. Chun nodded, tears in her eyes. "I'll do it." At that moment, Nurse Evelyn Scott stepped in. Her face was set, determined. She approached the desk and placed the thumb drive next to the file. "This is my confession," she said. "I've sent copies to every major network." Dr. Chen exhaled. "Then it's done." Shanice felt tears of relief. The walls closed in for so long. Now they were bursting open. She turned to Marcus. "He's coming home." Outside, protesters gathered, holding signs, "Return our babies," and "No more secrets." The president's motorcade passed but slowed, cameras clicking. Shanice stood with Marcus and Lily, facing the crowd. Sarah joined them, smiling. Shanice lifted Lily high. "We're just getting started," she called out. Her voice rang clear, carrying hope, grief, and promise for justice. The world was watching, and this time they couldn't look away. Marcus Williams sat beside Shanice in their quiet hotel room, Lily asleep between them. The news feed still buzzed with revelations. People debating, protesting, demanding justice. But neither of them could rest. Marcus pressed Shanice's hand. He thought back to the barn, the roar of the engines, the way the cameras swallowed them whole. He remembered her alone on the floorboards, birthing their babies without a midwife or machine. He remembered Lily's first cry, and then the silence around Noah. Now he made himself a promise. He looked into Shanice's tired eyes. "I swear," he said in a low voice, "I'll bring him home. No matter what they throw at us, I won't stop." Shanice managed a small smile, relief and fear mingling on her face. "I know you will," she whispered. The next day, Marcus met Agent Marshall outside the hotel lobby. Marshall's expression was cold. "Mr. Williams, the president requested your presence for an official photo op," he said. "This is your chance to publicly thank the administration." Marcus nodded without enthusiasm. He knew this was a trap, but he also knew appearances mattered. He'd used the stage to look Marshall in the eye and to learn something. On the rooftop terrace, the president smiled and reached for Lily. Cameras clicked. Marcus stood by, expression neutral. He caught Marshall's eye, refusing to give in to forced gratitude. Marshall's jaw tightened. Later, back in the hotel, Marcus reviewed the security detail maps Evelyn had given them. He saw a gap in surveillance at the old storage warehouse, where he believed Noah was kept. He told Shanice, "I'm going tonight." Shanice's breath hitched. It's dangerous. Marcus squeezed her shoulder. I need you to watch Lily. Then when I come back, we will fight this together. Shanice nodded, tears in her eyes. His determination was fierce, her anchor in the storm. That night, Marcus slipped out into the foggy streets. He moved fast, heart pounding. He reached the warehouse, a forbidding brick building with no lights. His phone's flashlight revealed a side door. He picked the lock, pulses racing. Inside, he heard soft whimpers. He climbed the stairs, each rung echoing in the emptiness. At the top, he found a long corridor. At the far end, through a window, he saw Noah's small face pressed against the glass of an incubator. Marcus's breath caught. He placed a hand on the door handle. Whatever happened next, he thought he would keep his promise. While Marcus crept through the warehouse, Shanice and Sarah Coleman faced another battle, the airwaves. News outlets owned by pro-government conglomerates ran stories labeling Shanice's claims unverified, smearing Sarah as a radical journalist. Even social media ads popped up. Don't fall for conspiracy theories. Support our leader. Shanice watched the news on her laptop, fists clenching. Her story, so clear to her, was being twisted into fake news. She called Sarah. People believe the spin, Shanice said. They're drowning us in doubt. Sarah sighed. I'm setting up interviews with independent outlets, podcasts, even diaspora TV. We'll flood them with the truth. They drafted statements, uploaded video testimonials from Evelyn and Dr. Chun, and posted photos of the top secret file. Comments and shares surged, but so did trolls. A slapped-on hashtag #barnhoax, trended in hours. Shanice's stomach churned. Determined, Sarah booked a live panel on an international news channel. Shanice appeared that evening holding Lily. She spoke from the heart. The fear in the barn, the missing son, the secret genetics program. Her voice shook, but her words were steady. She ended, "He's my baby. If you care about families like mine, help me bring him home." The reaction was electric. Hashtags #FindNoah and #JusticeForWilliams trended globally. Even some government-friendly stations ran follow-ups showing leaked video footage from the thumb drive. Back in the warehouse, Marcus heard his phone buzz. He peered through the door. Noah whimpered, sensors beeping. He scanned the room. 2 guards snoring in chairs, their rifles slung. He slid his phone out to record evidence. Then the screen lit up with Shanice's face on a live feed, urging people to share. Marcus's heart swelled. He turned back to Noah's incubator. The guards hadn't noticed yet. He clicked live. The whole world could watch him break in. He took a deep breath, ready to act. In the pre-dawn darkness, Erica Burns, the camerawoman who'd filmed the barn rescue, slipped into a dimly lit safe house. Sarah Coleman was there, sorting through flash drives. Erica's hands shook as she handed over a memory card. "I copied every single raw clip from that day," she said. "The ones they deleted." Sarah's eyes glowed. "This could expose the whole operation." Erica nodded. "And I've got contacts who can reroute it to social channels. No filter." Sarah embraced her. "Thank you." Across town, Shanice paced in the hospital nursery, checking on Lily. Evelyn Scott met her at the door, eyes bright with urgency. "Dr. Chin is on board now," she said. "They'll testify tomorrow at the press conference." Shanice clasped Evelyn's hand. "We couldn't do this without you." Evelyn frowned. "Be careful who you trust." Meanwhile, Marcus crouched behind a stack of crates in the warehouse, phone live streaming. He whispered to the camera, "I'm finding my son." He crept forward, checked the sleeping guards. He found a side panel on the incubator, gently undid the latch. Noah stirred, eyes blinking. Marcus lifted him out, cradling him close. He turned back to the phone. "It's him," Marcus said softly. Noah Williams. He slipped past the guards, heart roaring. By sunrise, Sarah, Erica, Dr. Chin, Evelyn, and Shanice stood before a sea of microphones outside the hospital. The leaked barn footage, the genetics files, and live testimony painted a damning picture. The world watched. Shanice held Lily in one arm, Noah in the other. Marcus stood behind her, face fierce with pride. Sarah's voice rang out, "This is the moment truth won't be silenced." Cameras clicked. Reporters shouted questions. In the shadows, allies who once hid in fear now smiled. Shanice's fight, fueled by unlikely partnerships, had finally broken through. The story was no longer theirs alone, it belonged to everyone demanding justice. Shanice Williams woke before dawn, determination fueling her every move. She sat at a small desk in her hotel room, sorting through the top-secret file, Evelyn's confession, and Erica's raw video clips. Marcus lay beside Lily and Noah in their portable crib, breathing softly in sleep. Shanice gently brushed his hair back. "We need more," she whispered. She dialed Sarah Coleman. "I'm ready," Sarah said. "I've booked a deep-dive interview on that global news network at noon. They want every piece of evidence." Shanice's pulse quickened. "Let's meet at the hospital conference room in 1 hour." At the hospital, Dr. Naomi Chin led Shanice, Marcus, and Sarah down a service corridor to a small archive office. "I secured these earlier," Dr. Chin explained, handing over scanned security footage from the night Noah was moved. The video showed Agent Marshall and 2 officers wheeling Noah's incubator through a back hallway. Standing by was Deputy Governor Perez, clipboard in hand. Shanice's heart pounded. Marcus loaded the footage onto a laptop. Sarah watched closely. "This ties everything together," she said, pointing at the screen. "We have nurses, a doctor, a politician, and the agent all involved." Shanice nodded. "We need witness statements." They reached out to several hospital staffers who had quietly supported them. A lab technician, a janitor who saw agents carry boxes marked confidential, and a security guard who overheard orders about subject NW-042. Each agreed to give recorded statements on camera. By mid-morning, Sarah's team set up in the news studio. Shanice held Lily in one arm, Noah in the other. Marcus stood beside her. Sarah introduced them, then laid out the evidence, the genetics program files, the night footage, the nurse's note, and the staff testimonies. Live footage played behind them, showing Noah's incubator and the barn rescue. Across the airwaves, people gasped. Viewers saw the conspiracy unfold in real time. Shanice spoke softly, "This is my family. They tore us apart. We demand accountability." Marcus added, "We want Noah safe, and we want justice." As the broadcast ended, their phones buzzed nonstop. Messages of support poured in from around the world. Shanice felt hope blossom. They had gathered the proof. Now the pressure would come. Back at the hospital, the mood turned tense. Security tightened, new checkpoints, ID scans, and patrolling guards. Shanice and Marcus were allowed only brief visits with Lily and Noah. Each time Get into her phone, shut it down. Offer the Williams family a settlement quietly. Across town, Agent Marshall coordinated with the White House. "The leak is too wide. We need damage control." Inside the governor's mansion, elite lawyers drafted non-disclosure agreements and hush money offers. Marcus got a call. "We can give you $5 million, a private education trust, and lifetime security for your family. Sign here." He listened in silence, then ended the call. "They tried to buy us," he told Shanice. Shanice's stomach twisted. "We can't accept," she said firmly. "If we take their money, it ends here, but so does justice. We need accountability." Marcus nodded. "No deal." Meanwhile, Sarah Coleman's expose had prompted congressional inquiries. A special committee was formed to investigate. Senators demanded testimony from the President, Agent Marshall, and Deputy Governor Perez. In the halls of power, aides scrambled to prepare for hearings. Shanice and Marcus met with Sarah and Dr. Chin in a cramped office. "They'll subpoena us," Dr. Chin warned, voice shaking. We'll need to be ready. Shanice placed a hand on Dr. Chen's arm. Thank you. Your testimony will change everything. Dr. Chen nodded, tears in her eyes. Late that evening, Shanice rocked Noah to sleep in a quiet corner of the hospital nursery. She whispered to him, "Hang on, baby. Daddy and I will bring you home." A nurse peeked in and offered a gentle smile. Shanice realized the world was watching and they couldn't turn back now. A week later, Shanice and Marcus stood outside the secure wing where Noah had been held. Congressional investigators arrived that morning, demanding access. Agent Marshall snarled orders to seal the area. Shanice's heart hammered. Inside, lawyers from both sides faced off in narrow hallways. Sarah Coleman recorded every moment, broadcasting live. Shanice clutched Lily and Noah walking behind the investigators. She spotted the maintenance tunnel door, now guarded. Memories of the first break-in flashed through her mind. The lead investigator, a stern congresswoman, demanded security footage. Hospital administrators balked, citing secrecy. Sarah pressed the mic. "This is government overreach. We need to see everything." Pressure mounted as the cameras rolled. Shanice felt the tension like electricity in the air. Suddenly, Marshall's radio crackled. "We have unredacted footage of Noah's release." He stormed out with his team. Shanice realized he planned to spin a new story. She tugged Marcus's sleeve. "We can't let them rewrite history." They contacted Erica Burns, who had raw, time-stamped clips of Noah's actual removal from the warehouse. She uploaded them to a public server. Within minutes, the footage went viral. Viewers saw Marcus carrying Noah to safety, the guards asleep, and the conspiracy unraveling in stark clarity. On live TV, the congresswoman slammed her gavel. "We have the truth." Agent Marshall and Deputy Governor Perez were subpoenaed. The president's office went into crisis mode. Shanice felt relief wash over her. Their fight for Noah had sparked a larger reckoning. But there was one more step, the rescue operation to bring Noah and Lily home for good. As cameras swarmed, Shanice squeezed Marcus's hand. "Let's finish this." Shanice Williams felt a chill long before she saw the flash of light on the surveillance monitor. She'd arranged to meet Jane, a trusted aide who'd promised inside info on the president's next move. Jane had been polite, helpful. Shanice even thought she cared. Now, Jane's voice crackled over Shanice's phone. "Get out. Now." Shanice's heart pounded as she grabbed Lily in one arm and Noah in the other. Marcus yanked back the curtain in their safe house and peered out a grimy window. Outside, black SUVs idled under a flickering street lamp. Agents fanned out, rifles raised. "They found us," Marcus hissed. He lifted a side panel in the floorboards. "Go!" He shoved Shanice down, pulling the panel back into place. The crawl space smelled of dust and rust, but it led to an old sewer tunnel. Shanice pressed Lily and Noah close as Marcus followed behind, crawling on his elbows. Every second echoed with booted footsteps above. A muffled shout. "Stop them!" Agents raced to the house. In the tunnel's dark belly, water dripped from the ceiling. Shanice fought panic, focusing on each step. Lily kicked gently, Noah gurgled. A small comfort. Marcus guided her by touch. After 10 tense minutes, they climbed a grate and tumbled onto a deserted back alley. Outside, Jane stepped out of a sedan. Her face was pale, eyes wide. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "They threatened my family." Shanice glared. "Why not tell us?" Jane's voice cracked. "I tried, but Agent Marshall has eyes everywhere." Marcus grabbed Jane's arm. "If you want to help, now's the time." Jane swallowed. "There's a blind spot in the security cameras. East Wing hallway, 3 a.m. You can slip in and get full records on Noah." Shanice nodded, swallowing her anger. "We'll remember this." Jane slipped back to the car. Marcus and Shanice ducked behind a dumpster until the engines faded. They raced across town to a derelict church Sarah had secured. Inside, Sarah and Erica waited, flash drives and laptops ready. Sarah's eyes lit up at the overdue footage. Jane's tip had saved them. "This is huge," Sarah said, plugging in the drives. "Let's move before they realize." Shanice cradled Noah, feeling both betrayed and relieved. Someone they trusted had cracked under pressure, but that crack let them slip through. She turned to Marcus. No stopping now. Every step forward had come with risk, but now they had new proof that would finally bring the whole conspiracy crashing down. At midnight, Sarah Coleman tapped the publish button on her laptop. The headline splashed across every news site: "Inside Story, How the President's Team Stole a Baby for Secret Genetic Tests." The article laid out everything: Evelyn's note, Dr. Chen's testimony, security footage, Jane's latest leak. Shanice, Marcus, Lily, and Noah huddled around Sarah's laptop in that old church. Lily's soft breathing mingled with the hum of fans on their phones. Comments and shares exploded by the second. Shanice felt her heart race. Every share meant more eyes on the truth. Sarah read aloud some top comments. "This is sickening. How could they? I'm signing every petition I can find. I want justice for baby Noah." Tears pricked Shanice's eyes. She brushed Noah's cheek. "We did it," she whispered. Suddenly, Sarah paused. "There's a response from the White House." On the screen, a terse statement: "Any claims of forced genetics testing are false. We're cooperating with inquiries." It sounded hollow. Marcus clenched his fist. "We have the evidence," he said. "Time to take it to Congress." That next morning, Sarah organized a press conference outside the Capitol. The family arrived with baby Lily in one arm and baby Noah in the other. Media vans lined the street. Reporters jostled for position. Shanice stepped up to the podium, voice steady but fierce. "My husband and I trusted our government to keep us safe," she began. "Instead, they betrayed us." She held up a folder. "Here is proof they stole our son for secret tests." Cameras clicked. She told the packed crowd about Agent Marshall, Dr. Chin, Deputy Governor Perez, and the president's orders. She described crawling through tunnels in the hospital and midnight rescues in the warehouse. "We got Noah back," she said, "but no other family should go through this." The crowd erupted with applause. Some wept, others cheered. Shanice felt a rush of strength. She was no longer alone. Her story had sparked a larger fight. Across town, in hushed halls, congressional staff scrambled to schedule hearings. The White House statement fell flat in the face of her raw testimony and Sarah's hard evidence. As Shanice left the podium, strangers thanked her, passed her tissues, and offered hugs. She caught Marcus's eye. "This is it," she said softly. "We've ignited change." By midday, protests had erupted nationwide. Social media brimmed with calls to action. #FindNoah, #JusticeForWilliams, #NoMoreGeneticAbuse. Demonstrations sprang up from small towns to big cities. Shanice and Marcus watched a live feed on their phone as crowds poured into Capitol Square, holding signs: "Babies aren't experiments" and "Stop genetic abuse." There were chants: "We want Noah home" and "Truth can't be buried." In their hotel room, Sarah paced. "This is bigger than I ever imagined." She turned to Shanice. "People are demanding real change, new laws, transparency in genetic research, accountability for those in power." The family switched on the TV. Even traditional networks were covering the story wall-to-wall, airing Sarah's article, showing footage of their press conference, and interviewing experts on medical ethics. Shanice saw Dr. Chin in one segment, brave and composed, calling for criminal charges. Marcus squeezed Shanice's hand. "Look at all this." Shanice nodded, feeling both proud and overwhelmed. "They see us," she whispered. That evening, Shanice joined Sarah and Erica at a livestream town hall. Shanice answered questions: why she fought back, how parents can protect their children, what changes were needed. Viewers sent in messages of support. A grandmother wrote, "As a mother, I can't imagine your pain. Thank you for speaking up. As the stream ended, Sarah smiled. What you've done will save lives. Shanice hugged her. We did it together. Outside, the night sky lit up with protest signs glowing under streetlights. Shanice looked at Lily cradled in one arm and Noah in the other. We started something that can't be stopped, she said. The public outcry was deafening, and it was exactly what they needed. The fight was far from over, but for the first time, Shanice believed justice would win. Agent Marshall slammed his fist against the mahogany conference table in the White House Situation Room. The leaked footage, the staff testimonies, the protests, it was all spinning out of control. Deputy Governor Linda Perez leaned forward, voice low and urgent. We need to wipe this out. Every file, every witness, everything. Marshall nodded. I'll handle it. He tapped a secure line. Initiate Operation Scorched Earth. Erase all digital traces. Intimidate dissenters. Make an example. Across the country, orders went out. Hospital archives were purged, maintenance tunnel access was sealed, encrypted logs vanished. Agents swarmed journalists who broke the story, threatening lawsuits, personal ruin. Dr. Naomi Chen's office was raided, her phone seized. Evelyn Scott's home was searched in the dead of night. Sarah Coleman's email was hacked and wiped. Back in Washington, Shanice Williams watched the news in shock. One moment, her fight had momentum, the next, the world seemed to forget. A ticker scrolled, genetic program files missing. Witnesses retract statements. She stared at the screen, heart pounding. Marcus stood behind her, arms crossed, jaw tight. They're scrubbing everything, he said. Shanice's hands balled into fists. They'll never erase Noah. She grabbed her coat. We need to go public again harder. Meanwhile, Sarah Coleman met with Erica Burns in a tiny back room. Erica slid a flash drive across the table. This has backup footage and unedited interviews. It's off-grid. Sarah's eyes widened. We can't lose this. That night, Shanice and Marcus held an emergency live stream from their safe house. She looked straight into the camera, voice steady. They're trying to burn our truth, but they can't erase what we know. She held up the top secret file. Behind her, Lily and Noah slept in their arms. We need your help. Share this link. Keep the pressure on. Messages poured in. Within hours, the drive's contents flooded social media. Protesters, now armed with fresh proof, massed outside the White House gates. The scorched earth strategy backfired. Every attempt to destroy the truth only fueled the fire. Agent Marshall watched the live feed from inside his SUV. He ground his teeth. They've turned our actions into proof, he muttered. We're done. Shanice closed her live stream with the promise, we'll keep fighting. Together. And for the first time since this nightmare began, she felt the tide turning back in their favor. In a packed congressional hearing room, Dr. Naomi Chen and Nurse Evelyn Scott took the stand together. Shanice and Marcus sat behind them, Lily and Noah bundled in their laps. Cameras circled the room. The air hummed with anticipation. Senator Rodriguez, chair of the special committee, pounded his gavel. We're here to uncover the truth behind Project Genesis, he announced. Dr. Chen, please begin. Dr. Chen rose, voice steady despite her pale face. She recounted every forced deletion, every threat from Agent Marshall. She held up her phone, showing the encrypted texts she'd saved. The room gasped. Next, Evelyn Scott stepped forward. She described slipping Shanice the first secret note, her fear for her own life, the moment she decided to testify. Her eyes met Shanice's, gratitude and solidarity passed between them. Marshall's lawyer launched into cross-examination. Isn't it possible you misunderstood orders? Isn't it possible your memories are faulty? Evelyn's voice never wavered. My only mistake was trusting you with my silence. The crowd erupted in applause. Shanice felt pride well up inside her. Every hidden truth had come out here where power couldn't smother it. Marcus squeezed her hand. Next, Sarah Coleman presented the unedited footage and interviews from Erica Burns. She played the clip of Noah in the incubator, time-stamped. tagged with location data. The committee watched in stunned silence. Senator Rodriguez addressed the room. "These actions are abhorrent. We'll draft charges against all involved, including the president's aides who covered it up." Outside, a crowd gathered, chanting "Justice now." Shanice stepped up to a podium set up on the Capitol steps. She held Lily and Noah, beaming. "Today, power didn't win," she said. "Today, truth did." The crowd roared its approval. In the aftermath, Marshall was suspended, Perez resigned, and the president's approval ratings plummeted. The Williams family's stand against the highest office in the land became a landmark moment in American history. A clear message that no one, not even the most powerful, was above accountability. Under the cover of dawn, Marcus Williams led a small team into the old government research facility on the outskirts of town. He'd scouted it weeks before, memorized guard rotations, and mapped every corridor. Today was the day he'd rescue Noah, officially cleared by the committee's orders. Shanice, disguised in a nurse's uniform, stood at the facility's main entrance with Sarah Coleman and a federal marshal. She clutched a copy of the court order signed by the special committee demanding the immediate release of subject NW-042. Inside, Marcus and two marshals navigated dimly lit hallways, stepping over discarded docks labeled dangerous genetic material. At the end of the corridor, behind a reinforced door, Marcus heard Noah's soft cries. Shanice watched security footage on a borrowed tablet, directing the team's moves. "He's in room C-17, she said into her earpiece. Marshall's team arrived at the door. The federal marshal flashed the court order. A guard hesitated, then unlocked it. When the door swung open, Noah lay in a clear plastic crib, tubes dangling, eyes bright. Marcus rushed in, scooped him up, and held him close. The boy reached for his father's face, a tiny smile lifting his lips. Shanice and Sarah burst in behind them, tears in their eyes. "He's coming home," Shanice whispered. They escorted Noah through the facility as staff and investigators followed, cameras clicking. Outside, Lily waited in Marcus's arms. The two siblings met. Lily gurgled. Noah waved his small hand. Reporters swarmed, flashbulbs bursting. Shanice lifted both babies high. "We're whole again," she said, voice echoing. The rescue operation, once whispered in secret, became front-page news. It marked the final, undeniable end of Project Genesis and the start of healing for the Williams family and countless others who'd been exploited. As they drove away, Marcus glanced at Shanice. She smiled, exhaustion and victory shining in her eyes. "We did it," he said. "We did," she replied, watching their son sleep peacefully. The battle had been fierce, but love and justice had won. Shanice Williams stood in the bright hospital hallway, breath-catching as Marcus carried Noah toward her. Lily toddled close by, holding Shanice's hand. The children's faces mirrored relief and curiosity, Lily's eyes wide at seeing her brother again, Noah blinking up at his mother. Shanice's heart swelled until it felt too big for her chest. She stepped forward, arms trembling. "Noah," she whispered, voice thick with tears. Marcus handed the boy to her, and Noah curled against her shoulder, small fingers digging into her gown. Shanice felt every moment of his absence flood back, the stolen nights, the silent fears, the frantic search. Now he was here, warm and alive. Lily reached out, brushing Noah's cheek. He responded with a soft gurgle. Shanice guided Lily's hand to gently pat his back. "Be gentle," she murmured. Lily nodded solemnly as if she understood the gravity of their family's ordeal. Marcus wrapped an arm around Shanice's waist. "We're together," he said quietly. Shanice leaned into him, eyes shining. "Yes, always." Behind them, Dr. Naomi Chin and Nurse Evelyn Scott watched, tears in their eyes. Evelyn stepped forward and placed a hand on Shanice's shoulder. "I'm so sorry," she said, voice barely above a whisper. Shanice turned and took Evelyn's hand. "Thank you," she replied. "You saved him." In the corner, Sarah Coleman snapped photos and recorded video for her follow-up story. "This is one for the history books," she said softly. Shanice nodded, a weary smile touching her lips. "It's been the hardest fight of my life." Hospital staff emerged from offices, clapping softly, offering congratulations. Even Agent Marshall hovered at a respectful distance, face unreadable. When their eyes met, Shanice held his gaze for a moment. No hatred, just a quiet acknowledgement that justice had prevailed. He looked away. As they walked to their room, Lily skipped ahead, Noah cradled in her father's arms. Shanice paused by the nurse's station and saw Deputy Governor Perez packing her things, shame in her posture. Shanice met her eyes. Perez's lips trembled. She gave a small nod. Shanice offered a courteous nod in return, no forgiveness, but no vengeance. In their room, Shanice laid Noah in a bassinet next to Lily. The twins had tufted hair the same color and perfect little noses. She kissed each forehead. "Welcome home, my loves." That night, in the quiet dark, Shanice held Marcus's hand. The fight had brought them to this moment, reunited, battered, stronger. She closed her eyes, listening to two soft breaths behind her. They were finally safe. The morning sun filtered through the curtains as Shanice and Marcus packed up their children's things. Reporters camped outside the hospital, eager for interviews. Shanice wore a simple dress. Marcus had on a crisp shirt. Their eyes were bright but shadowed by exhaustion. A press coordinator led them to a small conference room. Dozens of cameras pointed in. Shanice adjusted Noah's blanket, then faced the crowd. Microphones jostled forward. She took a breath. "TH continued. But this isn't just our story. It's a warning about power unchecked. We must reform healthcare oversight and protect families in rural areas from exploitation." Questions flew. What reforms did she want? How would she help other parents? Shanice outlined her plan: advocacy for transparent hospital records, whistleblower protections for medical staff, stricter limits on government-run genetics programs. Marcus chimed in with his own experiences from the warehouse raid, emphasizing that ordinary people must be empowered to stand up. Outside, protesters cheered at the windows. Deputy Governor Perez watched from a back office, head bowed. Agent Marshall sat alone in a corner, reviewing his first official statement of apology to the Williams family. Later that day, Shanice met with congressional leaders, Dr. Chan and Nurse Scott by her side. Together, they drafted a bill, the Family Integrity in Healthcare Act, to secure patient records, enforce independent audits, and grant legal immunity to staff who report abuses. That evening, back home in their quiet living room, Shanice and Marcus tucked Lily and Noah into matching cribs. The house was warm with soft lamplight. Shanice reflected on how far they'd come from the dusty barn to the halls of power. Marcus kissed her forehead. "You changed things," he said. She smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. "We did." Shanice opened her laptop and began drafting a blog post to update supporters, grateful for the outpouring of messages. She paused, thinking of the thousands of families who might still be in darkness. She typed, "This victory belongs to every parent who dares to fight for their child's life." Then she shut the computer and turned to Marcus. Together, they watched their twins sleep, hearts full of hope and resolve. Their fight had ended for now, but their work was just beginning. Months later, Shanice Williams stood on a small stage at the ribbon-cutting ceremony for a new rural health center funded by donations from across the country. Lily and Noah, now toddling hand in hand, waited beside her. The center's sign read Williams Family Hope Clinic. Shanice tapped the microphone. She felt a swell of pride and joy. "This clinic is for every family that needs care and compassion," she said. We've been through darkness, but we're proof that community and courage can light the way. She gestured to the twins. Lily and Noah inspired this dream. Applause and cheers filled the air. Marcus stood behind her, hand on her back. Local families waved, some brought flowers. Dr. Chin and Nurse Scott cut the ribbon together, smiling. Sarah Coleman photographed the moment, capturing history. Inside, the clinic bustled with activity, checkups, counseling rooms, a breastfeeding support group, and a small play area. Shanice took a tour with the clinic director, pointing out a mural on the wall depicting a mother in a barn reaching out to a baby bathed in sunlight. "That's us," Shanice said softly. The director nodded. "Your story gave hope to this community. We'll keep your legacy alive." Later, at home, Shanice updated her blog and social media announcing the clinic's opening. She wrote simply, "Today we build a future where families are safe and heard." That night, the Williams family sat together on the porch swing, the twins dozing in their laps. Fireflies danced in the twilight, crickets sang. Shanice leaned into Marcus. "Look how far we've come." He kissed her temple. "And look where we're going." Shanice watched Lily's and Noah's peaceful faces. Their journey from the lonely barn to this moment had been hard, but it had forged a new path for them and countless others. Share your comments, perspective, and lessons learned in the comments section below. Like the video and subscribe.